Hey guys, welcome to the channel, welcome to the stream and another chapter working on this guy right there, but I haven't even had a chance to load it because I just got here. So just give me a second, okay? Let me get this loaded up and then you can see what we're working on. There we go. Okay, so another chapter working on that guy there. We're gonna run the intro, we'll get right into it, okay? Okay, we're back and we're gonna get working on this thing. We're gonna start by going over a little bit of what I've done off camera so far, okay? I had to do a whole bunch of work. We finished off last time, I was starting to do the fins on the wings. And I tell you, I had to do a lot of work on them. And they're not 100%, they're not great. They're not awful, but also they're not great either. We're gonna go, I'll change the camera and I'll show you. Okay, where's my thing here? There we go. Okay, so let's start with this wing. This is our left wing. I think that might be port. I don't remember. So we got our fins in here. And as you can see, we got a huge gap there. These don't quite line up that great. I've got this one lifted just a little bit here. And then we've got these guys here. These ones not quite lining up perfect. This one is lifted. Now my thinking is, okay, so this side they're lifted. Okay, the other side they're lowered just that little hair because the plane is banking. Okay, that's what we're doing. Now I've got the lines pretty tight across here, right, and across here. Now this is the wing that didn't have the filler on the bottom, doesn't have that big gap. So this fit these little tabs here, here, and here, and here. They fit a lot better. I did still have to do a little bit of filing on them to get this to slide down into those little notches. But it was much better than the other side. I'll give it that. Much better than the other side. Okay. So I got them, like I said, I got them tight up here, but then on the bottom here we've got some pretty big gaps, especially this one here is a big gap along here. So I do want to fill them in a little bit with a little bit of putty. We're going to do that. As you can see, we got our gap there, but it's not horrible. I did have to trim the tab that inserts on this one a little bit to get this to fit so that this would line up here, right? So there was that. Okay, so that's this wing. We'll grab our other one. Here's the top of this one. This is the one I really had to do a lot of work on. This one. This is the one you saw me last time working on. I got this one. This one's facing up. Did I say it was down? Oh, they're both facing up. Oh, that's great. Well, the plane's lifting it. He's going on a bank like, right? He's going up. Anyway. I'm going to have to work on this one a little bit. We've got a gap here. This one, we got a big gap on this edge here. Now, basically, the reason why there's a gap is the edge for this right in here doesn't match the edge on the actual flap. They just don't match. But I got it to match on the panel line as close as I could get. These are actually touching and glued together, actually. I did get them lined up perfectly there, and same with these ones. These two are lined up nicely. On the bottom, our gaps on these are nice and tight along here. They're not bad at all, and along here it's all right, but we got a big gap here, right, on that one. This one is a lot worse because of this whole thing just not fitting correctly. It's almost like it's almost like, you know, the guy working on the flaps and designing them in the CAD program was sitting on the other side of the room from the guy doing the wing, and they didn't communicate with each other. That's what it seems like. That's really what it seems like. They just weren't talking to each other when they were doing it. Anyway, that's the wings. So, again, we got our engines all securedly nicely. I decided to do a little test fit and put the two parts of the fuselage together, bottom and upper half, and I realized the front edge of the bomb bay was hitting the bottom edge of the cockpit. As you can see here, I've taken my Dremel and I just ground down at about a 45-degree angle, just a bunch of extra material. And I didn't want to go through, I didn't want to create a hole, even though looking through here you probably never see it. I still didn't want to put a hole in there. So I just ground down a little bit there, and then I ground down on the bomb bay on this front edge. Same thing, just about a 45-degree, just a little bit there, okay, because they were actually hitting each other. The other thing I did is I took a couple of pieces of styrene and I went strips along the sides there and just kind of glued them down just to eliminate the gap. I didn't want to be able to, when I looked through this angle here, like look through from here and looking like that, like kind of like that, if you're looking at this camera here, that kind of angle, I could see through it, and I didn't like that. So I just took a piece of my little styrene strip like this. It's nice and flexible and bendy. So I just glued that down, held it down there to match the contour until the glue set, and done. And now there's no light shining through there. And having put these two together already, just to see how they fit together perfectly now that there's no binding or contact between the front of the bomb bay and the cockpit. These fit together very nicely now. And looking inside the exhausts, well, you can't really see anything in there, and that's exactly what I wanted, right? So this is good. I did a little bit of sanding on the front of our front landing gear doors. I want to do a little bit more here, just to, there's just that little bit of a step going along there. Okay, I'm going to change the camera back here. You can see there's that little bit of a step. You can see where it's the sandpaper's kind of hit it, and where it's not, there's that little bit of a step. I just want to just kind of sand that down a little bit more, and the same at the back here. Just a little bit of work there, and that'll probably all be hidden once we get some primer on this thing. Speaking of paint, that's the first thing we're going to be doing today. Is I'm at the stage where I want to, as you can tell probably, I'm working on our bombs. Why is it bright yellow? The whole thing is yellow. Why? Well, there's a yellow strip that goes around the bomb, right around that spot there. I didn't want to spray just that spot, because what happens when you spray the green, you're going to have a little bit of a discoloration where your overspray was, and then it's as it transitions. And I want to eliminate that, so I just paint the whole thing yellow. Paint the whole thing yellow, and then when I paint the green, well, there's no weird transition of the color tone variance or anything like that. So I think this is thin enough to spray. Again, I don't have this is just going to be quick painting two little bombs, so I don't think I need to, I did not prepare my other camera setup, so you're just going to have to watch from this camera, and you're just going to have to live with it, okay? Just going to have to live with it. It's the way it is. It's just the way it is. So, a couple of sprues I need to get out of the way here. I'll move this over like this. As you can tell, I'm working on my Ed 209 from RoboCop. Working on that as a side project. So let's see. I've already masked off the little stripe I need. So now it's just spray some green. Just gonna take a couple of coats, that's fine. Okay, so I got basically one coat done on that so far, so I'll just put this down, let that kind of dry a little bit, and then we'll work on this guy here. Okay, so there's one coat on that, and I missed a little spot on the skin. Okay, so there's one coat on that one, so we'll put this down. Grab this guy again. Make sure to get the nose. Get all the angles, that's important. Making sure I got all the fins done. There we go, so that one's done, okay? Sun in my face and everything. There's one, okay? Let's get this guy done. And that's about it for that one. Okay, and we got a second green bomb. Just like that. Alright. So, I'm going to clean up my brush, which means I am going to cut the video right about here. With that being done, the airbrush is clean, which means we can move on to something else. So my bomb's done, at least for now. This is dry enough I can remove the tape, if I can find my edge. Find the edge of the tape right there. And I've got a very nice little yellow stripe on my bomb. Just like that. That's one. Let's grab the other one. Find the edge of the tape on this one. I think that's that right there. Yep. Come on. There we go. And we've got a nice little yellow stripe on this bomb too. Very nice, very nice. So these bombs are not done. They need to have a little bit of silver painted on their fins and on the back end of them. But we'll do that later. We're going to do that next time. Okay? So that is that. So our bombs are done. I'm happy with that. Got that step completed. So just in case you're wondering what color did I paint these guys, well, the yellow is just regular Tamiya X8 yellow, just plain yellow, lemon yellow actually, and the green is olive green, XF58, bingo, and that's the green I used. So let's see what's next in this build. I think we're getting to a point where we're pretty close to being done, but not quite. I think we are at the step now, finally, that we can put the two halves of the fuselage together. Now that the engines are all done and everything like that, and we've got all our panels in on both halves of the fuselage, we can finally button the two together. And especially now, you know, you even saw me just test fitting it. So let's grab both of these here. This on the bottom half, it just goes into this little channel here, right there. So they don't mate up one on top of the other. This one sits in like that, which is nice because that makes your front edge really nice, right? So we're going to run some glue along here and all around it. I think I'll try to put a couple of clamps on in some spots. I see a little bit of oh no, that looks fine. It just feels a little rough on this edge here. It feels rough because I actually got a broken piece. I got a broken part on my kit. Look at this. See this edge here sticking out? Now that's going to mate up with the wing. Let me show you. Our wing is going to go in here like this. Okay, and that matches up there. This part here goes right into that little slot there on the wing. Right? We get that. If I can line it up again. Come on. There we go. Get in there. Get in there. You don't want to go in. Anyway, you get that. But then we got this over here. Guess what's going to happen? I'm going to put this on there, and we've got a big hole. There's a big hole there. What the heck am I going to do with that? This means I'm going to have to look in the box. Maybe that broke off and is sitting in the box. It could very well be sitting. Yes, it is. I got this little chunk here sitting in the box. So that is part of the upper fuselage. So I'm gonna have to glue this back on. That really kind of sucks because, you know, you can kind of tell where it was stressed, and just if I line it up with the stress mark, it's going to flex up. It's going to be pointing upward. See, like that. And that's no good. So I need to, it's going to take some putty to fill it in, to hide it. I'm going to file this down because it was literally flexed upward. So even though I glue it, it's going to, there's going to be a little bit of an imperfection there, but it's okay. We'll get her done. We'll get her done. Which means I'm not putting the two together today. A little bit of glue on there. And put these two together. Sure it's straight. And lined up. If I can line it up on the bottom, then that's good enough. The top is going to have a gap. It's just going to have to live with that. As long as it's lined up, then we're good. I can deal with other things later. Important thing is that it's straight. Okay, so that's there. It's going to need a little bit of putty on there. I might even use some CA glue just because it's going to be strong. And yeah, so that's back on there now. I would like to just check with the wing to make sure this lines up. This is the correct wing, yes. If I just take this and put it on here very gently without hitting anything, which of course I did. See, it's got to fit the wing too. It has to fit in with the wing. So with the wing in there, so I don't want it sticking up proud of the wing either. It should be like that. Okay, there's that. So we're going to let that sit. We're going to let that sit, going to let that cure, and we'll move on to something else because we're not putting our two halves together today. Set that down over here and we'll just let that dry. Okay, so I know there was some other stuff we need to do with our bomb bay. We got to put a bunch of little parts inside of the bomb bay. So it looks like we've got to put a bunch of A35s. Now I've taken the liberty of pre-painting these white. Okay, you need A35 and you need A28, 29, 30, 31. It's these guys here, these little white rectangular guys. So you got to get a whole bunch of these guys. We got to put them all on the insides and the outsides of our things, yes. What are our things? What are our things? It's these little notches in here. These little notches, they're all going to go in here. Bing, 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 like that. All in there. In each one of these. Okay? So I will start doing a few of them. Maybe I'll do them all. Should I torture you and make you watch me do every single one of them? Is that what you guys want? You want me to show you every single one? Or is one or two good enough? You know, even the three of you who do watch me live never say anything. So I sit here, I'm talking to myself the whole time. Nobody responds. Nobody responding. And I don't even know why I even do this stuff live. It really makes me question the reason I do this live. Because nobody talks to me while I'm doing this. I always invite you guys to ask me questions while I'm doing this, to give me criticism while I'm doing this, to tell me I'm ugly while I'm doing this. I'm always telling you guys, I welcome that kind of stuff. And yet you don't take me up on it. And I don't know why. Probably because it's boring to watch this stuff. Okay, so we're going to take one of these. And they're not too keen on showing me exactly where this little notch goes. But I'm guessing it goes here on this little lip. Not quite. I think it's supposed to go in that channel. Like this. Because I think our bay door is going to attach them. So let me just see. They do show it. Yeah, okay, that's exactly what we're supposed to do. So this little edge, okay, the little edge that's kind of like a little hook, okay, right where the edge of my tweezers are, that little notch, okay, right in there at the bottom. That's just supposed to go inside of our little slot, like this. If I just press it in there, it's tight fit, probably because I got paint on these now, but that's where they go, just like that. Okay, get that in there, maybe you can see. Where am I here? Bing, 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 there. Okay, that's where it goes, like that. Okay. Now the angle you get them at, that's another thing. Now yes, you get some glue on there, that's going to help get them in there lined up. So, but you know, I'm kind of tempted to glue them onto the door first. Let me look at one of the doors here. Thing that's a little, they kind of confuse you a little bit with our doors. B16 goes on to here. 17 goes into our engine. Then over here we've got B9, and you've really got to pay attention to the lines and watch the arrows actually go towards our bomb bay, while B19 goes down and is for the engine bay. Even though they've put it over top of the bomb bay, it's actually for the engine bay, right? So be mindful of that. So B9, let's just take that off of the sprue and have a look at it, okay? So B9, it's benign, that's good. Let's find B9 here. And this wing out of the way. The parts of this plane are so big, they get in the way. So B9, where are you here? 22, 23, 11, 12, 10, 9, right here, number 9. Let's get this off the sprue. Okay. And we'll just have a little look here. So, not sure which direction that's supposed to go in. I suppose if I were to try to, now B9, if I turn this around, B9 goes on this one, so it obviously is going to go like this. If you wanted to have your bay closed, you could do that, but we're going to have it open, so that's how that goes, which would make this line up in here, something like that. And if I take this and just kind of put it in there, there is a little bit of a groove, which is why this only goes in a certain spot. Okay, if we do that, that gives us our spot of how that goes in there. And then this guy, so he lines up with that. And that's how far he would stick out if you wanted to put him on the door first. So it's going to be too difficult to put them on the door and have them line up. So you have to have them, I almost want to put them in there, put the door on, and then glue them in, and then we'll glue the doors later. My question is, the inside of the doors, is this white? That's the next question. Are those supposed to be white? Are those supposed to be white? So we can put that in there. It's just, they're tight enough that they're going to hold. I think they're all going to hold on their own. We'll see. I'm going to change my glasses. I don't want my glasses sitting on top of my forehead. Done with that. Okay. Put you in there. I think I could just use my fingers. Yeah, I'm definitely going to have to use the door to guide these up, guide these before I glue them in. Simply because getting them all the same angle is too hard to do. Getting them all to fit in the channel is hard enough. And of course there's lots of them too. And the ones on the edges are a little bit hard because they're right in the corners. And this last one in this little corner here. Camera. I bet I got some lag going on there. Sorry guys, I just gotta hold this close to my chest for a sec. There. I don't want to glue any of this yet. That's tight fit there. Okay, so I've got them all in there, but clearly they are not all on the same level. So I want to make sure they're all the same orientation by squeezing them all onto the door like that. So that's going to be perfect, except our door isn't exactly where it's supposed to be. So we got to get it. Our door is not straight. This is not straight. Well, maybe because I've got nubs on there. What do I always tell you guys? Clean your nubs. Clean your nubs. And what am I doing? I'm not cleaning my nubs. Your nubs need to be clean. I'm going to have to look online and see, or maybe even one of the reference photos I already have. It's going to show. Okay. There we go. So door almost straight up and down. That should do fine. And they're all lined up, which means I can glue them in. And yeah, door's not perfectly lined up, but I think I can play with that later. Yeah, see, I can slide that down. It's just about, you know, getting them angled in there correctly. There we go. The door is where it needs to be. It actually is a little bit sunken down a little bit. You think about it, the door should have a little bit of a gap. But I think that's it, just like that. So I'm going to glue these down into their little homes. Just like that. And last one in there. Okay, so we can let that sit for a minute with the door on it even, that's fine. And I'm going to start working on these guys. Okay. Something I want to, actually, before we know, look at this. These guys. What are these guys supposed to do? They show 4 of them. And where do these guys go? They go into the edge. Oh, they go into these little holes that are in the end. There's a hole here and here and here and here. And same on this edge. There, 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 and there. And that's where they go. So it's just a matter of which way they go. So this guy has got a little peg on this side, and this side is flat. So with the peg facing the wall, he would go like this. And not really go into that hole at all. Just kind of sit on the edge. Okay, well, let's put a little dab of glue on there. A little dab of glue on that hole. And put him on it. Line him up straight. Just like that. Okay. I know the camera's not cooperating, but that's one. And then you take one, fade with the other way. I'm going to go in like this. A little dab of glue there. Like that. So you want to get them lined up. So I'm lining them up, if we can convince the camera to focus on them. I'm lining them up based on the curvature of the fuselage, rather than lining them up straight to each other. Okay, so I figured that's going to be a little bit more realistic, getting them lined up like that. Lined up to the fuselage and not with each other. Okay. And that's that. So those two are in. Okay. So that is that. So now I'm going to start working on, just realize kind of working on the edge here is a little bit tricky now that that's in there. So before I put any more of these guys on, I'm going to put more of these guys in. In particular, this very first one. I'm going to try and do this without interfering with that piece I just glued in there, which may prove to be very difficult. Yeah, because I've already bumped it. So you're going out of here. And that can come off. Okay, I just bumped this. These guys all need to be straight. Okay, so that's one of those in. Two. Three. Four. Five. And final one. Of course, it's tough on this spot here. It's also tough to not keep bumping the other ones. Okay, so which door goes on that one? So if B9 went on this one, we got to look for B10. B10 is going to go on this one. So here's B10. Okay. Now, let's listen to myself and get rid of my nubs. Clean these up. No, this edge doesn't really need them need to clean up. It's the other edge. Okay, this is the edge that needs to clean. I don't want interference. Actually, I'm wrong. It's the other edge that needs the cleaning. This edge needs to be cleaned and straight. Got a little bit of a lip on there for my file, so let's just take that edge off. Okay. So, same as the other ones. You got these little holes, but those are facing up, so it's the lower edge going down. Okay. So those are lined up, and that's going straight up. But I want to do the middle at the same time, do them both at the same time, because I get one in there and now I got to try and get the other one. I want to get them all lined up before I put any glue. So that means I need to get B11 onto this side. B11. Ouch. B11, and of course this edge needs to be clean. And this edge, more importantly, needs to be clean. Okay, because B11 is going to go right here. Okay, plop them in there for now. You can just screw off is what you could do. She don't fit. She don't line up. It's a good thing. Is that really supposed to be like that? This, or is B11 supposed to go here? I think B11 is supposed to go there because she fits there, which means it's B whatever this is. B this. That's supposed to go there. Is it? If it is, then she don't fit, or I've got it backwards. I had it backwards. Okay, so that's how it's going to go. So let's just do this. Okay, and we'll grab some more of our little pieces off of that tree. Whoa, catastrophe. Where is my other sprue with all of those parts? There it is. This guy here. So let's just grab, what do we need? 6 of them? Just so that we got them here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, let's get this over here. Yeah, see what happens? And that is why I want to get them on there before I get it glued. So this door goes there. Let's put this here. And the other door was this one, right? Was it this one? not that one. It's this one, right? Yes, okay. So, there's our two doors. Let's put these back in there. One in the edge on the ends are a little hard to do. Right up against the wall there, those are hard. You're hard. Well, no, I'm not hard right now. Okay, let's start with these. This one right against the wall. This guy seems to be really big for some reason. Doesn't want to fit. He doesn't want to fit, so he needs some work. Like he really doesn't want to fit. It's just a fat Albert of a peg, so you go bye-bye. Either that or I got a really skinny peg slot here. That guy went in. There we go. There we go. I'm going to try this guy back here, do this one first. Again, we're kind of right close to the wall, so it's hard to get in there. There we go. Try this guy here. Maybe he'll go in. Doesn't matter what the situation is, eventually he's got to find a home. You're just gonna have to choose a home. And if this is it, then that's it. There we go. Got him. Okay. So one thing I've noticed right away, these are in all the way and there's no gap. These, I have a little gap on each one of them, which tells me they're not pressed in all the way. Now, that might be the case because we've got this little step going all the way across here, and we don't really have that step here. Well, we do, but they're lined up. So I don't know. These, maybe I have these pushed down too far down, and that's why they're not. Yeah, that's exactly the case. If I pull them up, they go in. Of course, the glue, the fact that I bumped them a couple of times has kind of helped me in this regard. And now they're all in. They're all in as far as they're going to go. I better make sure we're all lined up here. Yeah, you weren't lined up at all, were you? You don't want to be. That's the key, is having these all lined up and attaching on the door. I will reapply the glue just to make sure they're all going to stay there. Now for our two little doors here, these are basically going to be touching each other. Because the way these doors are going to be just like this, sliding in between them all. Just like that. If I get a couple of them lined up and squeezed in there. That's basically it like that. Let's make sure they're straight. Them straight up and down. I think that's where they need to be. This thing got bumped. Okay. I believe we are ready to glue these in. Okay, ready for glue. I'm not gluing the doors yet because I have a feeling I got to paint the doors white on the inside. So no glue on the doors yet. Only on our mounts, and redoing the ones on the outside here. And there we go. So we're going to let that cure, we're going to let that dry before doing anything else. Now I could redo this one. I'm going to redo this one. This one's been moved a little bit, so we're going to have to redo some glue there. And let this sit and let that dry. Of course I have the final 6 to do on this side, but I have run out of time. I've run out of time, and so I need to leave it. And leave this like this for now. Okay guys, so I want to invite you to check out the description box below and see some links to my other stuff like my Twitch and my Instagram and my X channel. Twitch, you can watch me live like this and comment and follow me and do all that wonderful stuff. On my Instagram you're going to find pictures of all the models I've built in the past. And because every time I finish a project, I take a bunch of pictures of it and I put it up on my Instagram. So you can check those out if you feel like it. And I really don't do much on my X channel, but you could always message me on there, I suppose, if you feel like it. Anyway, guys, I want to thank you for watching. Thank you for the support. Thanks for coming out. And we'll see you all in the next one.